What's up, YouTube? It's me, the artisanmc, and today I'm going to review for you Ahsoka Episode 6, Far, Far Away. Now, first thing I'd say, I think this title should have been changed to Further Away, since we always started in a galaxy far, far away, and we're going to another galaxy that's further, further away. Let's just get that off the bat. This episode was what I expected it to be, which was a speed run. It was a speed run in the sense that it got everybody back together again really quickly because they were all in one place and moved on to the next part of the story because we got to finish this up in 2 episodes. So what I was expecting was true. Now, I was wrong in a sense. I thought that maybe we wouldn't even see Grand Admiral Thrawn until we got to the next episode. But if you want a climax in the last 2 episodes, you got to see him right now. You got to get to him right now. So here we are. We're in a new galaxy. Morgan Elsbeth, Baylan Skoll, Shin Hati, and Sabine Wren all warp in on the Eye of Sion to this new galaxy. And in this new galaxy, they come up on a planet called Peridia. Now, Peridia is supposed to be the place where the Night Sisters originated from before they came into the far, far away galaxy on Dathomir. And this is the place that space whales like to go and die, apparently. So they migrate back and forth. And this was a bit eerie, in a sense, to see a planet with a cloud of dust around it, which looks like a ring, but when you fly through the ring, it's bones of dead space whales and stuff. I don't know what space whales die from, but apparently their bones float in space. So that's interesting. Now, we waste no time in getting to this galaxy, sensing a beacon, and getting down onto the planet. Like, this is really happen in rapid succession. Little talking, get right to it. All right. So the beacon that goes off, you would ask, who's sending the beacon? Is it Thrawn? They found Thrawn's beacon that quickly? Well, they had a map. Okay, so it gave them a direction to go in. So they followed that. They get to the planet, they take a ship down and follow the beacon and find a high spire and land the ship. Now, coming into this planet is interesting because you start seeing large megalithic statues and stuff like that. But it is of Night Sisters and Dathomiri, right? Things that would be terrifying to some people. Now, what I get from this episode is that the Night Sisters are standing in for Sith. Because, excuse me, Sith are not mentioned one time in this. They mention the Empire, they mention the Night Sisters, they never mention Sith at all. So this is part and parcel of a skewing away from George's duality of Jedi and Sith, because they have no problem mentioning Jedi. They don't. They just don't mention Sith. I don't know why that is when they're mentioning Jedi the whole time. But, you know, if you suck in, the lifeblood out of one thing, well, you kind of want to keep using the host for a little while at least. So they get down to this high spire, land the ship, and step out, and there are 3 people standing on this spire. And it turns around to be the great mothers of the Night Sisters. Now, this is kind of cool for me because I kind of get into Sith and Dathomiri culture and the people involved in it. I only got a little bit of it in Fallen Order because I didn't finish the game. But that whole side of the Star Wars universe is interesting to me because it goes back, I believe, a little bit further than some of the Jedi stuff. It might go back a little further. But the fact that they come on this planet and they run into 3 women standing here, and each one of these women has a glowing ball in their hand reminds me more of Arthurian legends and the three witches that populated that. Or it might not even have been Arthurian legend, but in some medieval legends, there are three witches, and they usually would share an eye that would give them foresight and stuff like that between the three of them. This, from the one he's telling, they all got their own eyeball that floats, so they all look like excuse me, phantasm orbs floating around and doing things. Now, they are communicated to have been in touch with Morgan Elspeth, that they sent her dreams and visions and stuff like that. And you find out that Thrawn was the one who put them up to reaching out. He was. Now, they reached out to her, sent her visions or talked to her through the Force or whatever you want to call it, and got her to get here. And they're proud of her. But one thing they also mentioned is that they're disgusted by Jedi, and they sense Sabine Wren as being a Jedi. Why, when this person has no real attunement to the Force? I don't know, but they just had a reason to have to get her out of there and claim that she's on the other side of the coin. Whatever. They ask about Thrawn, and the sisters let her know that Thrawn is on the way. He's coming. Now, while they take Sabine into custody and leave her in her own little prison cell, the rest of them stand up there talking, and sure enough, Thrawn shows up. Now, it's a really interesting moment that harkens back to Close Encounters of the Third Kind, or the Fourth Kind, Third Kind, where the last ship is revealed behind Devil's Tower, and it comes up and you see how big it is. This scene is repeated in this show with a Super Star Destroyer, and it's Thrawn's destroyer. Now, I forget what the name of it is. I think it's the Chimera or something like that. I'm not sure. But sure enough, you get the reveal of pulling up from the spire, and you get the reveal of this huge Star Destroyer. And that made me a little giddy, because I like the shape of Star Destroyers. I like the look of Star Destroyers. They look mean. Now, this one rolls up, and it has some damage. But it's still floating. It's still moving and powered and everything else. And it comes forward and settles down on top of the spire itself, bringing the spire into its aircraft bay, so they can just walk from in and out. And you get the first reveal of Grand Admiral Thrawn coming out to speak to Morgan Elsbeth, the sisters, and Balin and Shin. Now, I will say this looks kind of cool, but you get to see some of Thrawn's forces. All right. You get to see the Imperial remnant, if you want to call it that, what's left, the troops that he has left. And you get to see how the special effects on his face and everything looks. Now, initially, it looked kind of funky around his face, around his eyes and stuff like that. It looks smeared on blue, CG'd everything else, and it looked kind of funky. The funkiest part about it is his fucking hair. His hair looks like Playmobil hair, not Lego hair, Playmobil hair. That it doesn't look right. It doesn't. Every time I think about that hair, I keep thinking of a silly show that used to come on MTV back in the 90s called Dog Boy. And it used to play on Liquid Television. And they used to have these little fake plastic hairs stuck on their head. That's what that shit looked like. That's what it looked like to me. So while Thrawn looks cool, that the hair did not look cool. And the whole time I'm sitting here thinking, this dude is actually Robert Patrick from T2. I keep thinking T2. Every time I'm looking at him, I'm thinking Terminator 2. Now I don't know why that is. I know it's not Robert Pattinson. I mean, not Robert Patrick playing this role. I don't think it is. I don't know, but that's what I keep thinking of. I keep thinking of Terminator 2. So be that as it may, Thrawn comes out and introduces himself and meets everybody. And you still kind of get the gravitas of he's supposed to be a badass, and everybody kind of trembles, but he ain't did shit yet. Still ain't did shit. So I'm still at a loss for how bad he is. Now, before he showed up, Balin and Shin had a little moment standing out on the spire, talking about what was the real feeling here. And Balin was intimating to Shin that something doesn't feel right here. And you get to know some of why Balin is working with Elspeth and these people, why he's even bothering. And what you find out is that he's looking for something else. He's looking for the beginning, as he calls it. There is something that he hopes to find on this planet, because where he stands on this planet of what the hell is his name? Perdea. He stands on this planet of Perdea. This is something from folklore that he learned at Temple when he was a kid. Like, this is a legend for him. He is now standing in what is mythology, and he's curious to find whatever else is supposed to, I guess, be here from mythology. Now, what that is, he does not say. He doesn't tell Shin. Shin doesn't know about it because she wasn't raised in the temple. He raised her outside of the temple after the fall of the temple, which is what you also find out, that Balin was a kid when the temple fell. So Order 66, he was kind of a kid. So most of his time after the temple was on his own, I guess, how he trained or whatnot. So you get that he has an ulterior motive for working with these people. He's looking for something here, and he wants an opportunity to find it here. And what he finds should be in some way able to, I don't know, rewrite or change whatever it is that he is actually looking for. Now, it could be the world between worlds. That's a changer right there. That's a game changer right there. Or it could be something else. Now, I would think, since Dave Filoni is a big lore guy, maybe what he's looking for ties back to the original origin from Legends of Jedi, dark side users and whatnot, which would be wasn't an obelisk, it was like a triangle sphere, and the original people were the Jedi. And I think maybe something, one of those artifacts or something like that, might be what he's looking for. Maybe. Right? Maybe. Don't know, but we'll find out. Now, while everybody is meeting Thrawn, they find out that they have a prisoner. And the prisoner was not revealed to Grand Admiral Thrawn by the Night Sisters when they, I guess, did their divination of the future for him. And they tell him the name, and he knows the name. He knows the name of Sabine Wren. So, yes, he wants to see her. And there's an interesting moment, which is actually played up pretty well, when they remove Sabine from her prison and bring her to Thrawn. And for half a second, she kind of stutter steps when being forced close to him, like, oh, shit, it's him. Now, that was kind of cool. That was a cool little ad by that actress to do that little stutter step, like, oh, shit. You know, that makes it seem like it's more of a reaction that this person is a bad dude. I know this. And physically, I want to run, but I can't. You know, it was cool. So Thrawn talks to her a little bit, and actually agrees to let her go so she can go find Ezra. Because apparently, Ezra is on this planet too. Now, if they both came through on space whales to the same place, maybe they ended up on the same planet. How long have they been there? I'm not really sure. I didn't watch Rebels or Clone Wars all the way out. So I can't tell you how long they've been there, but apparently he and Ezra came here, and Ezra could be dead. You don't know that. But Thrawn agrees to honor Balin Skull's promise to Sabine. He lets her go, gives her weapons, gives her a mount, and points them in the direction of their last known, I guess, interactions with Ezra Bridger and sends her on her way. In the meantime, Thrawn honors his deal that he made with the Night Sisters, and they start emptying out this spire of what I would consider coffins. That they bring in the rest of the sisterhood with them into the new galaxy because Thrawn is ready to go. He is not trying to dawdle here very long. He holding up his end of the bargain with the Night Sisters. He loading up the ship, and he about to peace out. So they got 3 cycles to get it together because he ready to go. Now, that's interesting how that's going to work. You're going to put the ring around the Star Destroyer? Interesting. Interesting. That'd be an interesting way for that to work. It would end up looking like the Jedi Starfighter, where they hooked up to the hyperspace engines that they had for those starfighters and just pieced out. It would look like a bigger version of that, and that would give reason for why the Eye of Sion was so big, because they didn't need to make it that big to get there. They made it big for a reason. They probably made it to dimensions to fit around his ship, so they can bring his ship back through hyperspace. Well, it'll be a regurgitated kind of ship design, but that should work. It should work. But be that as it may, get a scene of Sabine going out and getting the throttle off over the planet in the last known direction of Ezra Bridger. And Thrawn lets them know that, look, Ezra could be dead. Whatever. Let her go, because she can stay here. She ain't coming with us. Thrawn don't care. She can stay here and die as far as he's concerned, because he tells her that when his ship leaves, she will be stranded there. So she will not be his problem anymore. Regardless, he let her do whatever the heck she wants. She ain't coming. So while she trottles off across this wasteland, other instructions are given to Balin Skull and Shin from Thrawn that, you can follow her at your leisure. Because Thrawn's secondary plan is, you can follow her, and if she finds Ezra or whatever, you can destroy them both. All right? So when they're ready, Shin and Balin set off on mounts after Sabine Wren to follow her. And it is further intimated later on from Thrawn that, he'll leave their asses too. He don't care. He sent all the Force users off his damn ship, so they can, traverse the wasteland if they want to. That ship is leaving, with or without them, or more likely than not without them. He don't care. Told them what they wanted to hear too, and they got their ass off his ship to go chase after somebody else. He doesn't care. And you sensing the feeling from Thrawn that he doesn't. He spent all this time here in exile. He has no love for no Jedis or Sith dark side Force users. He's not feeling that shit. He's using it because he has a deal with the Night Sisters, but he ain't got no love for it. So any way to get them away from him is fine, as long as he can leave. which is kind of funny to me because he just like saying it like matter of fact, like, yeah, this one ain't working. They can stay here. He ready to go. He ready to go. He had enough of this world, apparently. Now, Sabine riding across this planet ends up running into some nomads because there are indigenous peoples on this planet, along with these Night Sisters. And these nomads um, set upon her when she's trying to find her direction or whatever to Ezra. Excuse me. And something is noticed again when Sabine is set upon by these nomads. At least in the show. Sabine is a garbage fighter, dude. She sucks. She is a suck ass fucking fighter. Now, shout out to my boy Chris for giving me the talk on Sunday about this. On Sunday Shop Talk Live. He gave me the talk about Sabine, told me some of the stuff she did in the Clone Wars and in Rebels that did make her sound really cool. And one of the things he told me about is that she always was about her two pistols, her two blaster pistols, which is some of what you get in this fight scene. These people pop up on her, give her a shot to the breastplate, knock her off her mount, and she goes straight for the guns and starts, two-hand, blasting at these fools. Now, the problem with this is she is a shit fighter. She keeps getting tagged. She does a couple of good, cool things, but she keeps getting tagged. I'm like, she has to be the worst Mandalorian, dude. She has to be the worst one. Because if it wasn't for the fact that she had on Beskar, she'd have been dead 3 times in this fight. And these are just some randos. These are random ass people. It's like she can't hit a shot. She missing again. Like, dude, you are the worst fucking shot. She missing that. She taking hits and stuff like that because she can't move quick enough. Like, oh my God, dude, this is the worst fighter that y'all trying to pump up to be somebody. Why should we care? Now, through the fight, she gets her pistols, her blasters knocked out of her head. And sure enough, she goes to the lightsaber. Now she's doing a lot better, killing these things with a lightsaber. Whatever. I guess anybody can swing it now. I'm not going to say that. Was it a cool fight scene? Whatever the fuck. No, it wasn't. But I'm still sitting there watching her and like, she is the worst fighter, dude. This is the worst fighter. Why are you even bothering to train this person? I'm riding with Hu Yang there. She is the worst in a millennia. She is the worst person to even try to be a Padawan. Because I'm not seeing any of the Mandalorian skill. And the Mandalorian skill is not in just pointing a weapon and pulling the trigger. That's not the Mandalorian skill. It's supposed to have some kind of fighting skills. She getting her ass kicked by random fucking people. So, bro. Now, she ends up getting out of that fight and beating all of them. And furthering on to where she comes upon what would be a campsite, she seems. Because the little mount that she was riding, who she talks to, mind you, even though she's never seen a creature like this before, never been on this planet before. Apparently, her just speaking English to the thing, it understands that. But then at a different point, she actually speaks the language it does understand and it complies. It's like, this is dumb as fuck, dude. Dumb as fuck. So it leads her to a spot. And in this spot, she ends up finding some other new creatures. They look like little hermit crabs hiding in the dirt and stuff. Now, this part looked like Skyrim to me. It did. The little crabs. I'm like, oh. So we'll just take from everything. It's not enough that her riding this little mount, this little dog, wolf looking thing, since Dave Filoni has to stick wolves in everywhere. Riding this wolf looking thing with her across this little barren landscape doesn't have to remind me of the Riddick movie any more than it did. The last one that had Katie Sackhoff in it. Yeah, that's what it reminded me of. Outside of the fight scene, that reminded me completely of the Mandalorian riding the blurg and going off and fighting some random people. Be that as it may, she runs across these new creatures and she's talking to these creatures in English or basic in the Star Wars universe, and they're understanding, and she's understanding these creatures. She's never been to this planet before, never seen these fucking creatures before. How is she understanding their language since she, doesn't have a force? She's just talking to her like, yeah, no, that's not what's going to happen. I'm like, dude, this looks as dumb as Ray sitting there talking to BB-8. I'm like, so she speak droid? All right, whatever the fuck. Sorry, I'm having trouble understanding right now. Shut up, Siri. So she's talking to these creatures, and apparently there's more than just one. And what I get from this when I see these creatures start popping up and they gather together and they talking to shit, it's like, are these the new Jawas? Are you shitting me? These are the new Jawas? Little hermit crabs? Noti or whatever, talking their little language? Like, oh, fuck. Okay. Hermit crabs are the new Jawas in this universe. Fine, whatever. From looking at her armor, seeing her new Republic symbol, that makes some kind of connection that they've seen it before. The one little crab Nati that she's talking to has that symbol on his coat. It's a patch. She starts saying Ezra Bridger. They seem to know his name, so she starts following these creatures. They're leading her off to somewhere else. Hi ho, it's off to find Ezra we go. Now, in the meantime, Baylan and Shin have come across her handiwork. And now they are having a conversation about what Baylan is looking for on this planet. And he tells Shin that you have to feel it. You can feel something stirring here, that the Night Sisters want to leave so badly for some reason. And it's probably some reason that something here that's more powerful than them. And that's why they want to run from this planet so badly. Now, he aims to find it. But what I get from this a little bit is Shin don't care about those old stories. She cares about her master, but she doesn't know anything about these older stories because Baylan didn't raise her with those stories. So what he is saying and what he is doing seems to be striking Shin a little foul, which means to me she'll probably end up turning on his ass. She's probably going to end up turning on him so she can go her own way and be the boss chick in the universe. The other thing that I'm getting from this interaction is Shin at this moment is reminding me a lot of Vestara Kai. And Vestara Kai comes from the Lost Tribe of the Sith books and the Fate of the Jedi series, where you have Vestara Kai coming from a planet full of Sith. She has white hair too. And meeting up with Luke Skywalker and Ben Skywalker, not Solo, Ben Skywalker, Luke's son, and meeting up with them, going to fight Abeloth, but also having her father, Gavar Kai, with her. Now, Gavar Kai and Vestara Kai had an interesting relationship, a very interesting relationship, as being two Force users, father and daughter. Saber Kai and his Padawan, his daughter. They had an interesting relationship because Vestara ended up being involved and having a little teenage romance with Ben Skywalker. It was an interesting situation. But beyond that, the complexities of who Vestara was seems to be rubbing off on Shin. And I'm seeing some of her in Shin. But it's like it's a little bit reversed, where she is really hard on keeping to what she knows. And it seems like Baylan is about to be flip-flopping. In the novels with Gavar and Vestara was the one who was flip-flopping. And Gavar Kai was the one who was loyal to what he had taught her. And that was going to be a problem because his daughter was kind of going away with the Jedi and not holding to their Sith practices. Now, the reason I throw that out there is because I'm not seeing a lot of original stuff in this from Dave. I'm seeing way too many regurgitated scenes or regurgitated stuff pulled from other sources, and that's bothering the hell out of me. It's bothering the hell out of me. Because every time I'm watching every scene, I keep seeing other scenes from other movies in this scene. Like, oh, you just copied this scene. Oh, this was just like such and such. Now, because of my conversation with my boy Chris, I'm trying to give this one more of a benefit of a doubt situation, but it doesn't take away from the fact I've been watching television a lot of years. I'm probably older than Dave Filoni. So I know where some of this stuff is being pulled from. So I'm not looking at it like he's magical and mystical and everything wonderful. I'm looking at it like you have no originality, god dang it. That's the problem with this. I am not seeing a lot of original ideas. I'm just seeing rehashes. So that's kind of rubbing me the wrong way. Beyond all that, I do think Shin will probably end up turning on Balin by the end of this. I think so. And if it happened, it would be an interesting moment for that character, for the both of them. But since Ray Stevens has passed at the time this aired, it would be a good way for his character to go out so you don't have to worry about recasting or seeing him again. Sucks. I'm kind of liking that character. I'm really curious about that character, but the actor's not here anymore, so the character can go away. Yeah. This is the first appearance of it. It can be the last one too. It won't matter as much. So with that, you get Sabine actually making it over to the little critters, home fort, and getting to see how they live their lives in their little huts and all the rest of that stuff. And you get the reveal of what she came here to find, which was Ezra Bridger, standing here talking to her in real life. And Sabine gets to actually hug and recognize that it's her friend. She has found her friend. Now, one of the shit things that she does in the middle of this is that Ezra tells her he has questions. How did she get here? What's going on? When do we leave? She kind of tells him there'll be time for that later. She just wants to be happy at this moment that she found him. And I'm like, no, this is something you need to tell him right now because he has questions. What are you doing riding a howler? How did you come to be riding that? She don't want to say. She's going to keep it to herself for a little while. She just want to be happy that she found her friend. I'm like, that's bullshit. This is some important information you need to be telling him right now. I got it from Thrawn. Yeah, he about to leave here. That's important information. This is not time for you to be sitting on it. Like, nah, catch me next episode and I'll tell you. This bull crap, dude. Bullshit. Let him know what the hell is going on so we can get to the stakes part in the next 2 episodes. Since we speed running anyway, just tell him. Why hold it off to the next episode? Come on, that's so stupid. And the first thing she doesn't do is give him back his lightsaber. First thing she doesn't do, which to me would have been the first thing she should have did. Like, the whole Rey and Luke moment, like, oh, I have this. Do you want it? So Ezra can say, oh, I don't use those anymore. Some shit like that. Something parallel to that. But that's not what happens. So you get the two of them going off. They're going to help these little crab creatures peace out and get out of here. Now, back on Thrawn's ship, the Night Sisters informed Thrawn that a Jedi is coming, that they went back and, did their divinations and found out that another one is coming. The Jedi is on the way. And Thrawn deduces that it's Ahsoka Tano, who's supposed to be dead because that's what Balin Skull told Morgan Elsbeth, and that's what Morgan Elsbeth told Grand Admiral Thrawn, and Grand Admiral Thrawn is looking at her with his red eyes like, bitch, you know what the hell you talking about? My girl's over here said she on the way, and she's supposed to be dead. If she's not dead, and that supposedly Jedi told you, that used to be Jedi told you that she was dead, he's a problem. He got to go too. And basically just decreed it. Look, we'll wait for her to show up, the Ahsoka to show up, but your boy gone. The mercenaries are staying here. We're leaving. And that's pretty much where it's left. That Thrawn is not bullshit. He is ready to go. He is ready to get out of this galaxy as soon as he gets the rest of these Night Sisters and their cousins loaded up. They out. They're peacing out. And anybody who's left here on this planet will be left here on this planet. He is shaking the dust off and he's ready to go. Now, I like that sense of impending escape because it will push people to do things like a ticking clock. You know, he really wants to leave and he is not about to miss his opportunity to leave. It don't matter who's showing up here. He is leaving. And with that in mind, how badly it seems like he wants to leave this place, I can see anybody who stands in front of him getting blown the hell up. I can. Now, it's only one ship showing up. And his standing order is to shoot any Purgio that comes near this planet. Well, she wasn't riding in a Purgio. Well, she wasn't just sitting in the Purgio by herself, just like your ship wasn't. Okay, so she's obviously going to have a ship. Killing the Purgios ain't going to do shit, but, you know, fill up the dusty ring a bit more. But be that as it may, it's his choice. He's ready to go. He don't want to be stopped at anything. And that is pretty much the end of the episode. Now, my overall feeling on this, there was a couple of geek moments that looked really cool. The reveal of the Star Destroyer was cool for me. The reveal of Ezra, I'm sure, was cool for everybody who watched every episode of the Clone Wars and Rebels especially. I'm sure they're geeking out over that. I'm sure they are. I felt a little bit like because the shot lingered for too long, you know, it's like, okay, you're going to pan over and Ezra will be there. And sure enough, that's what happened. It's like, okay, fine, whatever. This is a big moment. You're getting to find your friend. Story-wise, I get it. Story-wise, I get it. It's a big moment. Now, beyond that, it was a speed run. Everybody was conveniently close by. You got to a planet, bam. You're on the planet, bam. Thrawn's here, bam. Ezra's here, bam. We're going to leave. Ahsoka's coming, bam. Done deal. Pretty quick. This episode was so streamlined, it got over and done with fast. So I guess that means we're going to get a lot more story in the next two episodes, which are the last two episodes, which should be cool. Now, was anything exciting in this episode? Ezra showing up. Thrawn finally being seen. Because I didn't think they would reveal him in this one. There was a chance of it, but I didn't think they would. No, we got a full reveal and got to get the measure of him walking around, talking to people and how they interacted. You got all of that. You got to see who Thrawn was or is to these people. I still don't buy he a badass. You're going to have to show me something else. But the way he was going about making sure the Force users got off his ship without giving them the slightest indication that he didn't like them, I got that. And that, for me, brought back the Amidala vibes from the Fate of the Jedi series. Because Amidala, who was a Moff, female Moff, she did not like Jedis or Sith. And when she took over the New Republic, or the Republic, she was trying to get rid of both of them completely. She didn't want none of them around. Because between Jedi and Sith, the galaxy has been plunged into too many wars. She was done with that shit. She was not feeling it. So seeing Thrawn in this episode really seeing that veil of it's cool. Like they stay here, they stay here. Yeah, get them out on the planet, get them off my ship. Yeah, we leaving. Warm up the engines. We gonna leave these motherfuckers here. That was kind of funny to me. That was really making me kind of like, okay, Thrawn, he kind of shrewd. Okay, that's okay. He gaming right now. Okay, I'm for that. I'm for that. I am book and a half into Heir to the Empire. I haven't finished it, but so far, Thrawn is being really smart. Some of the stuff I've seen him do is not that interesting yet, but I know he about his business, and his troops will work. They will do their job efficiently. So that can make him a threat. Still waiting to see it in the show, but that's what it is. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. I will see you guys next week for episode 7. Like, share, subscribe, support the stream if you feel so inclined. I am artisanmc, and I will see you next time. Peace.